was born into a big Dutch family, and my dad grew vegetables and flowers for the city market, and we all had to pitch in, and it worked. My dad was a widower and he raised all of us, 9 children. So we are very grateful for that. And it was in a town between 2 big cities, so it was pretty good location for whatever my dad was selling. What I remember is the morning I was 6 years old, and that morning it was a beautiful day, and we heard a lot of airplanes, and then my brother came in. He had been to the neighbors, and they said, "This is the war that started." The airplanes were German airplanes, and they were dropping a parachutist. At first it didn't seem to be that much different, but at least I realized that all the grown-ups were different. You know, they were worried and they didn't know what was going to happen. And then little by little we couldn't have a radio. Everybody had to bring in their radio, so we couldn't get the news. And the only news we got later was via England, the BBC, for people who had smuggled their radio somewhere where they could still use it. And that's when the grown-ups got some news sometimes. They were occupying, like I said, the school. They were marching around, and they were sometimes just grabbing people off the street and sending them to the German factories because all their own people were fighting. And those factories weren't very nice places. A lot of people didn't come back for that either. We talked about it the little that we knew, because most of it, the grown-ups protected us, you know. And also, you couldn't tell the children too much because you couldn't trust people anymore. It was very difficult because the people are leaning towards the German, you know, they had better benefits, but most of the community wouldn't deal with them or talk to them. So the Allies had to fly over Holland to bomb Germany, but then the Germans got their weapons ready, and they started shooting at the Allied airplanes, of course. And all of a sudden, the oldest began to cry, and she said, "Oh, my foot hurts." And the bullet had come to one window, to a door, in the bed under the foot of her. And she had quite a wound on that foot, and that took a long time to heal. And after that, we never stayed in bed anymore. When we heard the news that it started, you know, in the south, coming in from Belgium, and on the east, coming in from Germany, but we were the last area to be liberated. And that's when we experienced that hunger winter that they are talking about, because the Germans had taken everything that they could in the line of food and transportation. And people were literally dying from hunger. People from the city came to our town was smaller, and they came begging door to door for just a slice of bread or, you know, or some milk or whatever. It was really horrible. What we heard that they came closer, and then the Germans surrendered. So then we had a big party, and we got out on the street, and people found the flags again, which we had hidden. And then we heard at school that we had to be at the highway because there was a big parade, and Churchill would come. So all the school kids with little flags and things, we went to the highway and saw a big row of fancy cars, and Churchill was in a convertible, and he was holding up his V for victory, and everybody was so happy that it was over. So that was a big highlight for us to be able to see that. Beforehand, we could notice that they were taking things. They were stealing bicycles, and there were even little kids' wagons they were taking with them, and they were marching sort of towards the German border, because we were totally on the west coast, and they wanted to go east. And so I think they knew what was coming, and then little by little they disappeared after after we had seen the Canadian army with Churchill. We only saw Canadians there for liberation. That's why Holland is so keen on the Canadians. They'll never forget it. It makes you more aware of rights and justice, like all that happened to the Jews. That was awful. I am really grateful for the Canadian Army, and that's our thank you, from all of Holland, because they were the heroes.